Captain Han Wu stood on the bridge of the U.S. Retribution, watching the stars drift past through the main screen. The massive battleship moved through space like a sleeping giant, its dark hull covered with weapons that made other alien races nervous. Han Wu was a tall man with sharp eyes and graying hair at his temples. He had been commanding ships for 20 years, and the Retribution was his pride. The year was 2387, and humans had been part of the Galactic Council for almost a century. But most aliens still looked at humans with fear and disgust. They called Earth a deathworld, because everything on the planet tried to kill everything else. The aliens thought humans were violent and dangerous, barely civilized enough to be allowed in space. Han Wu did not care what the aliens thought. His job was to patrol the outer rim territories and keep the shipping lanes safe. The Retribution was perfect for this job. It was over 2 kilometers long and packed with enough firepower to level a small moon. The ship's crew of 800 humans worked like a perfect machine. Captain, called Communications Officer Park Yuna from her station. She was a young woman with quick fingers and sharp hearing. "I'm picking up a distress signal." Han Wu walked over to her station.
"What kind of signal?"
"It's alien, sir. Coming from about 3 light years away. The signal is weak, but I can make out some words." Park Yuna frowned as she worked with her equipment. "Sir, they sound really scared." "Put it on speakers," Han Wu ordered. The bridge filled with static, then a voice came through. The words were translated by the ship's computer, but the fear in the voice needed no translation. "This is Elder Thon of the transport vessel Serenity's Hope. We are under attack by Kareth pirates. We have 40,000 civilians on board, including many children. Our shields are failing and we have no weapons. Please, if anyone can hear this, we need help immediately. We cannot hold out much longer." The signal cut to static, then came back. "We are carrying refugees from the Villani homeworld. These people have already lost everything. Please, someone help us. We are defenseless." Han Wu's face turned hard as stone. The Villani were a peaceful race that never hurt anyone. They spent their time making art and growing beautiful gardens. The Kareth pirates were the opposite. They attacked defenseless ships and either killed everyone or sold them as slaves. "How long to reach their position?" Han Wu asked Navigator Li Mina. Li Mina was already working at her station. "If we jump to hyperspace now, we can be there in 47 minutes, sir." "Sir," said Weapons Officer Kim Day, "shouldn't we call this in to the Galactic Council? Let them send peacekeepers?" Han Wu looked at him with cold eyes. "How long does it take for Council peacekeepers to respond to a distress call?" "Usually 3 to 5 days, sir," Kim Day answered quietly. "Those people don't have 3 to 5 days. They probably don't have 3 hours." Han Wu turned to look at the main screen. "The Council will hold meetings and write reports while children die in space." Engineer Choi Hyen spoke up from his station. "Captain, the Kareth usually travel in groups. We could be facing 6 or 7 warships." "Good," Han Wu said. "Maybe they'll give us a real fight." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what the captain meant. The Retribution was built for war. Its weapons could punch through the armor of any known ship. Its shields could stop almost any attack. Most importantly, its crew was human. Other alien races fought wars by being careful. They tried to minimize damage and avoid casualties. They followed rules and protocols even when people were dying. Humans fought wars by winning them as quickly as possible. "All hands prepare for combat jump," Han Wu announced over the ship's communication system. "We have civilians under attack by pirates. We are going to help them." Throughout the ship, 800 crew members moved to their battle stations. In the weapon bays, Kim Day's teams loaded the massive guns with armor-piercing shells. In engineering, Choi Hyun's people began routing extra power to the weapons and shields. In the medical bay, Dr. Yu Sora prepared for possible casualties, though she hoped they would all be enemy casualties. Park Yuna worked at her station, trying to keep the distress signal clear. "Sir, I'm losing the signal. But before it cut out, I heard something else." "What?" "The Elder said they detected Kareth fighters attacking escape pods. Sir, they're killing people who are trying to abandon ship." Han Wu's hands slowly formed fists. "On Earth, there were rules even in the worst wars. You did not attack people who were surrendering or running away. You did not kill children. The Kareth pirates had no such rules. Navigation, are we ready for jump?" "Yes, sir. Coordinates locked in. Weapons status report. All guns loaded and ready, sir." "Targeting systems online. Engineering power levels. All systems at full power, sir. Ship is ready for battle." Han Wu sat down in his captain's chair. The chair was made of metal and leather. built to last through the hardest battles. He pressed a button on the arm of the chair. This is Captain Han Wu to all crew. We are about to jump into a combat zone. The enemy is attacking defenseless civilians, including children. These pirates think they can prey on the innocent because no one will stop them. Today they learn what happens when Deathworlders respond to an SOS call. He paused, looking around at his crew. Every face showed the same cold anger he felt. The Galactic Council calls us violent. They say we are too dangerous for civilized space. Maybe they are right. But today our violence serves justice. Today we remind the galaxy why predators should fear the dark. Han Wu pressed another button. Jump! The stars outside stretched into lines of light as the Retribution entered hyperspace. In 47 minutes, the Kareth pirates would learn why humans were feared across the galaxy. They had picked the wrong prey, and now the apex predators of Earth were coming for them. The hunt was about to begin. The Retribution dropped out of hyperspace like a nightmare made real. One moment there was empty space. The next moment 2 kilometers of human battleship appeared with its weapons already charging. Captain Han Wu looked at the main screen and felt his anger grow hotter. 6 Kareth warships surrounded the alien transport vessel. Serenity's hope like wolves around a wounded deer. The refugee ship was huge but helpless. Its hull torn open in 3 places and atmosphere bleeding into space. Escape pods drifted everywhere and Han Wu watched in horror as Kareth fighters shot at them like they were playing a game. Tactical report, he ordered. 6 Kareth heavy cruisers. Approximately 12 fighter craft, reported Tactical Officer OG-1. The transport ship has lost main power and life support is failing. I count at least 50 escape pods in the area. Are the Kareth still shooting at the pods? Yes, sir. They appear to be hunting them for sport. Han Wu's voice became ice cold. Weapons target the nearest cruiser. Full power. Sir, shouldn't we try to communicate first? Asked Communications Officer Park Yuna. Maybe demand they surrender? They're murdering children in escape pods, Yuna. What do you think they'll say when we ask them nicely to stop? Weapons Officer Kim Day had already locked onto the closest Kareth ship. Target acquired, sir. Main guns charged and ready. Fire. The Retribution's main guns spoke with the voice of thunder. 8 massive shells, each one the size of a small building, crossed the distance in seconds. The Kareth cruiser's shields flared bright blue for a moment, then collapsed completely. The shells punched through the ship's armor like it was paper, and the cruiser exploded in a ball of fire and metal. The other 5 Kareth ships suddenly stopped what they were doing. Han Wu could imagine the panic on their bridges as they realized they were no longer hunting helpless prey. Incoming transmission from the Kareth fleet, Park Yuna reported. Put it on screen. The main screen showed a Kareth admiral sitting in what looked like a throne made of bones. The Kareth looked like large insects with too many arms and yellow eyes that showed no mercy. This one wore armor decorated with the skulls of his victims. Human vessel, the Kareth admiral said in a voice like grinding metal. I am Admiral Vextar of the Kareth 3rd Raiding Fleet. You have destroyed one of my ships. This is an act of war. Good, Han Wu replied. I was hoping you'd see it that way. Vextar's yellow eyes narrowed. You are only one ship. We are 5. Withdraw now, and we will share the spoils from this transport with you. The Vellani make excellent slaves. Han Wu stood up slowly. Admiral Vextar, my name is Captain Han Wu of the United Earthship Retribution. I want you to understand something very clearly. Those people you're attacking are under my protection now. Any Kareth ship that does not surrender immediately will be destroyed. Vextar made a sound that might have been laughter. Humans. The galaxy's attack dogs. You bark loudly, but you are still just one ship. You're right, Han Wu said. We are just one ship. But we're a human ship, and you just made the worst mistake of your life. He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. All weapons, prepare for sustained combat. Navigation evasive pattern alpha. Engineering route all available power to weapons and shields. The Kareth ships began moving toward the Retribution in a standard attack formation. They had been fighting defenseless merchants and refugee transports for so long that they had forgotten what a real warship could do. Incoming missiles, OG-1 reported. 43 incoming warheads. Point defense systems active, Kim Day announced. The space around the Retribution filled with laser fire as the ship's defensive weapons shot down missile after missile. A few got through, but they exploded harmlessly against the battleship's shields. Their missiles can't even scratch our shields, Engineer Choi Hyun reported with satisfaction. Now let's show them what real missiles look like, Hanwoo said. Kimdae, launch full spread. The Retribution carried missiles designed to crack open planets. Each one was as large as a fighter craft and moved faster than anything the Kareth had ever seen. The battleship launched 24 missiles in 3 seconds. The Kareth ships tried to shoot them down, but human missiles were built to survive. They twisted and dodged through the defensive fire, their AI systems calculating the best path to their targets. 18 missiles reached their targets. 2 more Kareth cruisers disappeared in explosions that lit up the darkness. A third ship lost its engines and began spinning helplessly through space. The remaining 3 ships suddenly didn't look so confident. Incoming transmission from Vextar, Park Yuna said. Put him on. The Kareth admiral looked much less confident now. Human captain, perhaps we can reach an agreement. There are many ships in this sector. Surely we can find enough prey for both of us. You're not listening, Hanwoo said. This isn't about territory or profits. You attacked civilians. You shot at escape pods full of children. There is no agreement. There is no negotiation. There is only justice. Justice? Vextar snarled. We are Kareth. We take what we want. These weak species exist to serve the strong. Then let me show you what strength really looks like. Hanwoo turned to his crew. All weapons, continuous fire. Don't stop shooting until they're all dead or surrendering. The Retribution unleashed its full power. Main guns, secondary batteries, missile launchers, and laser arrays all fired at once. The battleship became a moving star of destruction, pouring fire into the remaining Kareth ships with terrifying precision. Navigator Lee Mina piloted the huge ship like it was a fighter craft, dodging return fire while keeping the weapons in perfect firing position. The Kareth had never seen anything move like that. Most alien warships were slow and clumsy, but humans built their ships to dance with death. Another Kareth cruiser exploded. The damaged ship with no engines finally broke apart under the sustained fire. That left only 2 ships, including Vextar's flagship. Admiral Vextar is trying to run, OG-1 reported. Let them go a few thousand kilometers, then disable their engines, Hanwoo ordered. I want them alive to answer for what they've done. The Retribution's gun spoke again, this time with surgical precision. The fleeing ships found their engines destroyed by perfectly placed shots. They drifted helplessly in space, no longer predators but prey. Sir, Park Yuna said, we're getting a transmission from the refugee transport. Put it through. Elder Thon's voice filled the bridge, weak but grateful. Human vessel, this is Elder Thon. We cannot believe what we just witnessed. You saved us all. How many survivors do you have? Hanwoo asked. 38,000 made it to the ship's safe areas. Another 1,500 are in escape pods. But Captain, our life support is failing. We have perhaps 2 hours of air left. Hanwoo looked at Engineer Choi Hyun, who was already working on the problem. Sir, we can extend emergency life support to their ship, but they need a real rescue operation. Do it. And send out our rescue shuttles for the escape pods. Hanwoo turned back to the communication. Elder Thon, this is Captain Hanwoo. Help is on the way. As the Retribution's crew worked to save the refugees, Hanwoo stared at the 2 disabled Kareth ships. Admiral Vextar was still alive in his flagship, probably wondering how his easy prey had turned into his worst nightmare. The Admiral was about to learn that humans didn't just win battles. They made sure the enemy never threatened innocent people again. Hanwoo stood in the interrogation room of the Retribution, looking down at Admiral Vextar. The Kareth was chained to a metal chair, his armor removed and his weapons gone. Without his throne of bones and army of ships, he looked much smaller. Where is your base? Hanwoo asked for the 3rd time. Vextar's yellow eyes glowed with hate. I will tell you nothing, human. The Kareth clans will hunt you across the galaxy for what you have done. You attacked 40,000 civilians, Hanwoo said calmly. You shot at escape pods full of children, and now you threaten me? He leaned forward. Admiral, you really don't understand what you're dealing with. Behind Hanwoo, Tactical Officer OG-1 held a data pad with the information they had pulled from the captured Kareth computers. The numbers made her sick to her stomach. Captain, she said quietly, we found records of their other attacks. In the past year alone, they've raided 17 civilian transports. They killed over 6,000 people and enslaved 20,000 more. Hanwoo's face showed no emotion, but his hands slowly formed fists. And the Galactic Council knew about this? Yes, sir. There are official reports going back 3 years. The Council classified the Kareth as a minor piracy problem. and recommended increased patrols in affected areas. Han Wu turned back to Vextar. Your people have been murdering civilians for years while the Council wrote reports. Well, Admiral, the reports stopped today. You cannot simply execute us, Vextar snarled. We are prisoners of war. The Galactic Convention applies to soldiers, not pirates who murder children. Han Wu's voice was ice cold. But don't worry. I'm not going to execute you. You're going to help me find every last one of your bases and fleets. Never. Han Wu smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Oh, you will. Because if you don't, I'm going to do something much worse than kill you. I'm going to let the families of your victims decide what happens to you. He walked to the door, then stopped. Think about it, Admiral. I'll be back in an hour. In the corridor outside, Communications Officer Park Yuna was waiting with a concerned expression. Sir, we're getting priority messages from Galactic Council Command. They want to know why we destroyed 5 Karath warships without authorization. What did you tell them? The truth, sir. That we responded to a distress call and engaged hostile forces attacking civilians. Han Wu nodded. And what was their response? They want us to deliver the prisoners to the nearest council station for proper processing through legal channels. Park Yuna paused. Sir, they also said our actions might be considered excessive force, and that there will be an investigation. Han Wu stopped walking. An investigation? Into why we saved 40,000 innocent lives? Yes, sir. Park Yuna, get me a secure channel to Earth Command. Priority 1. 10 minutes later, Han Wu was in his private office talking to Admiral Lim Sung, commander of the 3rd Fleet. Lim Sung was an older woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too many battles. Han Wu, she said from the communication screen. I've been reading your report. The Council is already screaming about human aggression and unauthorized military action. Admiral, with respect, I don't care what the Council thinks. Those pirates were slaughtering refugees. I know, and I agree with what you did. But we have a bigger problem now. Lim Sung's face was serious. Intelligence reports that the Karath clans are mobilizing their remaining fleets. They're not going to the Council for justice, they're coming for revenge. Han Wu felt a cold smile cross his face. How many ships? At least 40 warships, possibly more. They're massing at the edge of human space. Lim Sung leaned forward. Han Wu, they think humans are soft like the other Council races. They think if they hit us hard enough, we'll back down and apologize. They think wrong. Yes, they do. Which is why I'm sending you new orders. The Admiral's expression became deadly serious. You are to extract all information about Karath bases and fleets from your prisoners. Use any means necessary. Admiral, the Galactic Convention. The Galactic Convention was written by species that never had to fight for their survival on a death world. It doesn't apply when dealing with pirates who murder children. Lim Sung's voice was hard as steel. Han Wu. These Karath have been terrorizing this sector for years because they know the Council won't stop them. Well, we're going to stop them permanently. Han Wu understood. This was bigger than one battle or one group of rescued refugees. This was about showing the galaxy that humans would not allow the strong to prey on the weak. Understood, Admiral. What are my mission parameters? Find every Karath base, every fleet, every stronghold. Map their entire organization. Then destroy it all. Lim Sung paused. The Council wants to investigate us for using excessive force? Let's give them something worth investigating. After the call ended, Han Wu returned to the interrogation room. Vextar was still chained to his chair, but now he looked worried. Maybe he was beginning to understand that humans were different from other species. Have you reconsidered my offer? Han Wu asked. I told you I will never. Admiral, Han Wu interrupted. Let me explain something about humans. We evolved on a world where everything tried to kill us. Big predators, small predators, diseases, weather, even the plants wanted us dead. Do you know how we survived? Vextar said nothing. We became the apex predators. We hunted everything else until it was extinct or too afraid to threaten us. And when we ran out of things to hunt on our world, we came to the stars. Han Wu sat down across from the Karath. You made one critical mistake, Admiral. You thought we were like the other Council races. Civilized, restrained, willing to follow rules even when innocent people die. Han Wu leaned forward. We're not civilized. We just pretend to be. And when someone threatens people under our protection, we stop pretending. He stood up and walked to a control panel on the wall. Computer. Show tactical display of known Karath activity in this sector. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing star systems with red dots marking pirate attacks over the past 3 years. There were hundreds of red dots. Every red dot represents innocent people killed by your clans, Hanwoo said. The council saw this same data and decided it wasn't worth the cost to stop you. But humans see it differently. We see a cancer that needs to be cut out. He turned back to Vextar. You can help me cut it out quickly, or I can find your bases the hard way. Either way, every last Kareth pirate in this sector is going to die. The only question is whether you die with them, or get to spend the rest of your life in a prison cell watching your empire burn. For the first time, real fear showed in Vextar's yellow eyes. He was beginning to understand that he wasn't dealing with a civilized council race that would follow rules and procedures. He was facing a species that had climbed to the top of the food chain on the deadliest world in known space. What do you want to know? He asked quietly. Hanwoo smiled. It was not a pleasant sight. Everything. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from dozens of species sat in their floating pods, all talking at once about the human incident in the Outer Rim. At the center of it all, diplomat Kang Suji stood calmly at the speaking podium, waiting for order to be restored. Kang Suji was a small woman with intelligent eyes and graying hair pulled back in a simple bun. She had been representing humanity in the council for 15 years, and she had learned to stay calm even when everyone else was panicking. Order, order, called Council Speaker Zithral, a tall alien with blue skin and too many arms. The council will hear the human representative's response to the charges. The chamber fell quiet. Hundreds of alien eyes focused on Kang Suji as she activated the podium's communication system. Honorable representatives, she began. Humanity stands by the actions of Captain Hanwoo and the crew of the UES Retribution. They responded to a distress call from civilians under attack, and they saved 40,000 innocent lives. A wave of angry chittering came from the Centaurian delegation. Their representative, a bird-like creature with silver feathers, rose from his pod. The human vessel destroyed 5 Kareth ships without warning, without negotiation. This is exactly the kind of violence we feared when humans joined the council. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Kang Suji waited for quiet, then spoke again. Representative Crickstar, would you have preferred that Captain Hanwoo negotiate while the Kareth continued shooting at escape pods full of children? The Centaurian's feathers ruffled with anger. There are procedures, protocols. The proper response would have been to call for council peacekeepers and wait 3 days while 40,000 refugees died? Kang Suji's voice remained calm, but there was steel underneath. The Villani transport had less than 2 hours of life support remaining. Another representative stood up. This one was from the Althari, a species that looked like walking trees with glowing flowers for eyes. The issue is not whether lives were saved, but the method used to save them. Human military doctrine is far too aggressive for civilized space. Too aggressive, Kang Suji repeated. The Kareth have been attacking civilian vessels in this sector for over 3 years. This council has received 17 formal complaints about their activities. What did the council do about it? Uncomfortable silence filled the chamber. Everyone knew the answer, but nobody wanted to say it out loud. The council formed a committee. Kang Suji continued. You held hearings. You passed resolutions condemning piracy in general terms. You recommended increased patrols that never materialized. Meanwhile, the Kareth killed over 6,000 innocent people and enslaved 20,000 more. She looked around the chamber, meeting as many alien eyes as she could. So yes, Representative Velthara, human methods are aggressive. We prefer to actually solve problems instead of talking about them. The Althari representative's flowers dimmed with anger. Violence is never the answer to complex problems. Tell that to the families of the dead civilians, Kang Suji replied quietly. Before anyone could respond, the chamber doors opened and Elder Thon entered. The elderly Villani moved slowly, still recovering from his injuries, but his presence commanded immediate attention. Behind him walked Chief Engineer Nam Hoon from the refugee transport. Honorable Council, Elder Thon said, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics. I request permission to address the assembly. Council Speaker Zithral looked uncomfortable. Elder Thon, while we sympathize with your ordeal, this is a formal hearing about human military conduct. This hearing is about my people, Elder Thon interrupted. About the 40,000 civilians who are alive today because humans chose action over procedure. He moved to the center of the chamber. I have something to say about human military conduct. The chamber fell silent. Elder Thon was old even by Villani standards, and his species was respected throughout the galaxy for their wisdom and peaceful nature. 3 days ago, my people were dying in space. Our ship was broken, our life support failing, and Kareth pirates were hunting our escape pods like animals hunt prey. We sent a distress call into the void, hoping someone, anyone, would help us. He paused, looking around at the assembled representatives. Most of you would have called for peacekeepers. You would have followed proper channels. You would have held emergency meetings to discuss the situation, and while you talked, my grandchildren would have died. Elder Thon's voice grew stronger, but humans did not talk. They acted. One human battleship appeared in our darkest hour and destroyed 5 pirate ships in less than 10 minutes. They saved every single one of us. Chief Engineer Nam Hoon stepped forward. I was on the bridge when the human ship arrived. I watched them fight with precision we have never seen. They could have destroyed the Kareth instantly, but they chose to disable the surviving ships instead. They wanted prisoners who could provide information about other pirate bases. That's exactly the problem, shouted the Centaurian representative. Humans always choose the violent solution. And thank the stars they do. Elder Thon's voice cracked with emotion. If humans were as civilized as the rest of you, my people would be dead or enslaved right now. The chamber erupted in arguments. Some species supported the humans, while others demanded restrictions on human military operations. In the middle of it all, Kang Suji noticed something that made her blood run cold. Intelligence Officer Bei Wanho had just entered the chamber and was moving quickly toward her position. His expression was grim, and he carried a sealed data pad marked with the highest security codes. She stepped away from the podium to meet him. What is it? Ma'am, we've intercepted Kareth communications. They're mobilizing everything they have. Over 60 warships from 3 different clans. They're not seeking council justice for the destroyed ships. They're planning a revenge attack on human space. Kang Suji felt her heart sink. When? Within the week. They think if they hit us hard enough, we'll back down and apologize like the other council races do. Kang Suji looked back at the arguing representatives. They were still debating whether humans had used excessive force to save 40,000 lives. Meanwhile, a massive pirate fleet was preparing to attack human colonies. She returned to the podium and activated the emergency alert system. The loud tone cut through all arguments and forced the chamber to fall silent. Honorable representatives, she announced, I have just received intelligence that the Kareth clans are mobilizing their remaining fleets for a revenge attack against human space. Over 60 warships are moving toward our border systems as we speak. The chamber exploded in shocked whispers. Council Speaker Zithril called for order. This changes everything, he said. If the Kareth attack council member territory, we must respond with military force. No, Kang Suji said quietly. This doesn't change anything at all. This is exactly what we expected. She looked around the chamber one more time. You see, honorable representatives, humans learned long ago that predators only understand one language. The Kareth attacked our ship because they thought we were weak. Now they're attacking our space because they still think we're weak. She paused, letting her words sink in. They're about to learn how wrong they are. And when this is over, when every last Kareth pirate is either dead or in prison, maybe the rest of you will understand why humans don't waste time with committees and procedures when innocent lives are at stake. Elder Thon stepped forward again. Honorable Council, if humans are preparing to fight these pirates, then the Villani people stand with them. They saved us when no one else would. The least we can do is offer our support. One by one, other representatives began to speak. Not all of them supported humanity, but many did. The tide was slowly turning. Kang Suji watched it all with satisfaction. The council might not approve of human methods, but they couldn't argue with human results. And soon, very soon, the Kareth would learn why humans were the most feared military force in the galaxy. The debate was just beginning, but the real battle was about to start. The Kareth Armada dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the new Busan system like a swarm of angry insects. 63 warships arranged themselves in attack formation, their hulls painted with the skulls and bones of their victims. They had come for revenge against the humans who dared to fight back. Admiral Vexkol, leader of the combined Kareth clans, stood on the bridge of his flagship and smiled with too many teeth. The humans had destroyed one of their raiding fleets and humiliated his nephew Vextar. Today the Kareth would teach these Deathworld barbarians what happened when you interfered with superior beings. Long-range sensors show 3 human colonies in this system, reported his tactical officer. Population approximately 2 million. Minimal defenses detected. Perfect, Vexcol growled. We will burn their worlds and sell the survivors as slaves. Let the galaxy see what happens to those who oppose the Kareth clans. But as the massive fleet moved deeper into the system, the tactical officer's expression changed to confusion, then alarm. Admiral, I'm detecting massive energy signatures near the 3rd planet. Something very large just powered up. Define large, Vexcol ordered. Before the officer could answer, space itself seemed to explode with light. Ships appeared out of nowhere, not just 1 or 2, but dozens. The entire human 3rd Fleet had been waiting in the shadow of New Busan's largest moon. Their ships powered down and silent until the perfect moment. Admiral Lim Sung stood on the bridge of her flagship, the UES Indomitable, and watched the Kareth fleet with cold satisfaction. She was a small woman with steel-gray hair, but her presence commanded absolute respect from every human officer in the fleet. All ships, this is Admiral Lim Sung. Execute Battle Plan Omega. Show them what Deathworlders do to pirates who threaten our people. The human fleet spread out in a formation that no alien military academy taught. It looked chaotic, but every captain knew exactly where to be and when to be there. At the center of the formation, Captain Han Wu commanded a task force of 4 battleships, including the Retribution. Tactical analysis. Admiral Lim Sung ordered 63 Kareth vessels, mixed classes. They outnumber us 2 to 1, but Admiral. Her tactical officer paused. They're flying in standard attack formation. No innovation, no adaptation to fighting human forces. Lim Sung nodded grimly. The Kareth had spent so long fighting defenseless merchants that they had forgotten how to fight real warships. They were about to receive a very expensive education. Communications, open a channel to the Kareth flagship. The main screen showed Admiral Vexcol on his bridge. Like all Kareth, he looked like a giant insect wearing armor made from the bones of his enemies. His yellow eyes glowed with confidence and cruelty. Human Admiral, he said in a voice like grinding metal, I am Vexcol of the combined Kareth clans. You will surrender immediately, or we will burn your colonies and enslave your people. Admiral Vexcol, Lim Sung replied calmly. I am Admiral Lim Sung of the United Earth 3rd Fleet. You have entered human space with hostile intent and threatened our civilians. You have exactly 30 seconds to surrender unconditionally, or we will destroy your entire fleet. Vexcol's laugh sounded like breaking glass. You have 30 ships against our 60. Human arrogance will be your... Lim Sung cut the transmission. All ships weapons free. Destroy them all. The Battle of New Busan began with a sound like thunder rolling across the vacuum of space. The human fleet opened fire simultaneously, their coordinated attack hitting the Kareth formation from 3 directions at once. Captain Han Wu's task force punched straight through the center of the enemy formation. The Retribution's main guns spoke with deadly precision, each shot carefully calculated to maximize damage. Weapons Officer Kim Dae had trained his crews to perfection, and they proved it by destroying 3 Kareth cruisers in the first volley. Navigator Lee Mina, bring us around for another pass, Han Wu ordered. Communications Officer Park Yuna, coordinate with the Vengeance and Fury. I want a simultaneous attack on the enemy flagship. The 3 human battleships moved like dancers, their massive hulls sliding through space with impossible grace. The Kareth tried to respond with their own coordinated attack, but they were used to fighting enemies that fled or surrendered. They had never faced an opponent that fought back with such skill and fury. Engineer Choi Hyun monitored the ship's systems from his station in the depths of the Retribution. All systems optimal, Captain. Power output at 110%. The ship is hungry for more battle. On the other side of the battlefield, the human destroyers and cruisers engaged the Kareth fighter squadrons. The alien pilots were skilled at hunting defenseless transports, but human fighter pilots had trained in the asteroid fields of Sol system, where a single mistake meant death. The Kareth losses mounted quickly. 10 ships destroyed in the first 5 minutes, 20 ships in the first 10 minutes. Their perfect formation dissolved into chaos as captains tried to flee or hide behind larger vessels. Admiral Vexcol watched his fleet being systematically destroyed, and felt something he had never experienced before: genuine fear. These humans fought with a precision and ruthlessness that shocked him. They showed no mercy, asked for no quarter, and gave no thought to minimizing casualties. "All ships retreat," he ordered. "Jump to hyperspace immediately." But the human fleet had anticipated this. Admiral Lim Seung had positioned her fastest ships to block the escape routes, while gravity mines prevented jumps to hyperspace in certain areas. The Kareth fleet found itself trapped in a cage made of human steel and human fury. "Admiral," the Kareth tactical officer reported with a shaking voice, "we've lost 40 ships. The humans are jamming our communications and blocking our escape routes." Vexcol looked at the tactical display and realized the horrible truth. The humans hadn't just been fighting them. They had been herding them like prey animals, forcing the Kareth fleet into a position where escape was impossible. "Incoming transmission from the human flagship," his communications officer reported. Admiral Lim Seung appeared on the screen, her expression showing no emotion at all. Behind her, Vexcol could see human officers working with the same calm efficiency they might show while brewing morning coffee. "Admiral Vexcol, your fleet is defeated. 23 of your ships remain operational. You have two choices: surrender unconditionally or die fighting. Choose now." Vexcol's pride warred with his survival instincts. The Kareth had never surrendered to anyone. They were the predators, not the prey. "We are Kareth," he snarled. "We do not surrender to inferior species." "Then you die," Lim Seung said simply, and cut the transmission. The final phase of the battle lasted exactly 7 minutes. The remaining Kareth ships fought with the desperation of cornered animals, but desperation was no match for human military doctrine. One by one, the pirate vessels were disabled or destroyed. When the shooting finally stopped, space around New Busan was filled with debris and the hulks of destroyed ships. Of the 63 vessels that had entered human space, only 5 remained intact enough for their crews to surrender. Captain Han Wu stood on the bridge of the Retribution and looked out at the destruction. Around him, his crew worked to secure the area and rescue any surviving Kareth who wanted to surrender. "Casualties?" he asked. "Light damage to 3 destroyers. No fatalities," reported Tactical Officer OG-1. "The Kareth never managed to penetrate our shield grid." Medical Officer Yu Sora added, "We have 17 crew members with minor injuries from battle acceleration." "Nothing serious," Han Wu nodded. The human fleet had just destroyed one of the largest pirate armadas in galactic history, and they had done it without losing a single ship or crew member. It was a testament to human training, technology, and tactical doctrine. "Communications, send a message to Galactic Council headquarters," he ordered. Park Yuna activated the long-range transmitter. "Ready to transmit, Captain." "To the Galactic Council, this is Captain Han Wu of the United Earth ship Retribution. The Kareth clan invasion fleet has been completely destroyed. We have prisoners ready for transfer to Council custody. The pirate threat to this sector has been eliminated permanently." He paused. "Oh, and Council Speaker Zithral? The next time you want to investigate humans for using excessive force, remember this battle. We could have destroyed every Kareth ship in the first 5 minutes. Instead, we gave them multiple chances to surrender. That restraint is the only reason any of them are still alive." As the message was transmitted across the galaxy, Han Wu knew that everything had changed. The Galactic Council would no longer question human military methods. Other pirate clans would think twice before threatening innocent civilians. And species across the galaxy would sleep a little safer, knowing that humans stood guard in the darkness. Elder Than's words echoed in his memory. While other species talked about peace, humans enforced it. In the vast darkness of space, sometimes the only way to protect the innocent was to make predators afraid of the dark. The hunt was over. The galaxy was a little bit safer, and the legend of human justice had just begun.